All right, everybody. Hi there. Welcome to Mondays with Mike. It is a holiday edition of Mondays with Mike, and I'm actually joining you from our new weather center. We have a bunch of new stuff. Boy, it's been a busy day. I got to tell you, yeah, it's a holiday, but it's been so busy. We premiered a new graphics theme this morning and a new sort of way of doing things, which we're calling Weather Where You Live. WWYL, which is the way we're kind of like abbreviating it in our emails and stuff. But it was a lot of work actually this morning. We've been working on these graphics for a few weeks, and everybody's been doing their part. JD and Ramisha and Allison. We've gotten some new weather computers, some new graphics. Ramisha and Allison are really very good at it. JD and I are playing a little bit of catch up. I mean, I get it. Like, I had to do a lot of stuff this morning that I didn't think that I would be able to do with the new graphics, but I did. So it was a little hectic. It really was hectic, definitely. So today is a holiday, of course, known to most as President's Day, although the federal holiday is technically called Washington's birthday. Now, I happen to have a book here that was sent to me. I hope he's watching, in fact, right now. This is sent by a gentleman named Alan Bruce Clark, Ph.D. And there's a picture of him, by the way, on the back. Handsome Dr. Clark. And he wrote this book called The Reasons for All the USA's Annual Federal Holidays. And when you want to talk about detail, I mean, if you've ever wanted to know why we have all the federal holidays we have, it's several pages of explanations about each holiday. And so obviously on the day today, I said, well, I want to know a little bit about the history. So here's an old picture of pre-revolutionary good old George Washington. And so I read through here, and it turns out, okay, so George Washington's birthday is February the 22nd. And so there were commemorations for his birthday, even when he was alive, during his lifetime, like on his 50th birthday. And when he died, there were annual kind of informal commemorations for his birthday, you know, through the 1800s and so forth. And by the way, there were a lot of people, the anti-federalists, who didn't want to, they thought it was idolatry, which I understand. You know, they didn't want to really celebrate somebody's birthday because, you know, he's not a king and all that stuff. And, you know, he didn't want to be a king, right? So they opposed it, but nevertheless there were celebrations in Philadelphia back in the late 1700s and through the 1800s in New York City. Again, I'm not the historian. Alan Bruce Clark, Ph.D., our viewer, is the historian. By the way, he's also, I think he is what you would call a Renaissance man, because he's got a lot of different things that he knows a lot about. So anyway, what's interesting is that it just so happens that one of our other greatest presidents, probably the greatest president, right, Abraham Lincoln, his birthday is on February the 12th. And so the holiday for many years was known as Washington Lincoln Day, and now is known by many people as simply President's Day, to honor all of our presidents, or at least the ones that you like. And the public law was passed in 1971, declaring the third Monday of February to be Washington's birthday. So anyway, check out, I'm going to look this up for you right now because I want to see if this is available on Amazon. If you really are, you know, like to know about this kind of stuff, it really is. Let's see. Alan Bruce Clark. Let's see. He does. Okay, I got to tell you, Dr. Clark does change the order of his names sometimes. I'm not kidding you. Here he is, Alan Bruce Clark, PhD, and sure enough, there it is. It is on, I don't know if you can see it, but it is on Amazon, and it is available on Amazon. The hardcover, the paperback book, this one right here is $19.99. And it's worth having. It's a good reference to have in the house. So thank you to Dr. Clark for that. I bet you didn't think I was ever going to show it on TV. So anyway, so that's the reason for President's Day, and the forecast for the day today actually looks pretty terrific. Now, if you're watching this with me live, then it's 12:30 or 12:35. Ish, and the weather's going to be fantastic today. So it's just beautiful. It really couldn't be any nicer for the holiday. As far as our new graphics, I'm going to share some of them with you. And it really, what we're going for is we want to connect more locally. So I know I've always been a little bit, aware of the fact that you all live in different places, and frankly, weather in Galveston and weather in Texas City, it can often be very different from weather in Jersey Village or Cypress or the Woodlands. In fact, most of the time it is different. And so I've tried to cover that by using things like a forecast map that shows cities, and the model will project into the future city temperatures and things like that. But now we're going to do a much better job of that and showing you really specific graphics that highlight the differences between your part of town and other parts of town. And we're going to try to be as specific as is humanly possible, as the limitations of the science will allow us to be. So I'm going to go ahead here and run through a few graphics for you to kind of demonstrate to you what we've got. So we're not abandoning this kind of thing where we tell you what's happening right now and obviously what's happening with the winds, and I love to talk about the humidity and the dew point and things like that because it is going to affect your day as far as whether or not it's going to be humid or dry and things like that. But so we're going to begin with two things. Obviously, you want to know what it's like when you head out the door, okay? How cold is it? How windy is it? Things like that. And then, in addition, what's it going to be like later on today? What's it going to be like tonight or tomorrow if we have a cold front coming through? So this is just an example of us trying to localize what's happening right now. So the particular time that you're looking at this, this is a little outdated because I'm recording this just before it goes out live. So these temperatures are probably a little warmer when you're watching this now, but I have the noon show. I'm busy on Mondays, very, very busy on Mondays. So we're able here to kind of share with you the differences between what we're seeing in Galveston and for the Galveston Bay communities, what you're seeing farther inland. Now, this is probably not the best example because all the temperatures are pretty similar right now, but we could even go down here and break it down town by town. Weather where you live is what we're calling it here. So, for example, the outlook for Pasadena today shows that we're looking at 4 p.m. temperatures of about 67. Dry air, lots of sunshine, and then we can slide it on over for our friends in Tomball, where it's also going to be sunny and dry. And again, we've specialized these graphics to try and focus in on particular areas. Now we have a graphic here that takes us out to Katy, where we're looking for more sunshine and temperatures maybe just a little bit warmer. So the farther inland you go today, you get less of an influence from the Gulf of Mexico and most likely just slightly warmer afternoon high temperatures. This is another graphic that takes us down to the coastline. So this is what I was alluding to before, which is, there can be big differences between what you see at the beaches and what you see inland. So, we just saw Katy, expected today to get up into the upper 60s, but then you go down to like Galveston, downtown Galveston and Jamaica Beach and down to around Freeport and Surfside and these places where there's a south breeze today. And so you get a cooling effect coming in from the Gulf of Mexico. So the high temperatures down there are only close to 60 today. So, almost 10 degrees cooler really than what we're seeing inland. So that's the kind of thing that I hope will be helpful on a day like today. That's a holiday, and maybe folks are headed down to the beaches, and I know the water is still obviously very cold, but probably not getting in the water, but it may still be helpful, for you guys that are just taking a little trip down there. We also have here Montgomery County. So we have this cool thing here where it's like you cut out the county and lifted it up out of the earth. And it just sort of highlights what we're looking at here. So we break it down, and I'm going to be probably switching up these cities a little bit from time to time because, weather is all local, and sometimes you're going to have rain over these areas too. So obviously that's on a day like today, not a big deal, but it will be. So you have Splendora, not too far away you have New Caney, you have Cut and Shoot, not too far away you have Willis. And, you have Porter, and just down the road is Kingwood and Magnolia, not too far away from Plantersville and those spots. And so we're going to be changing these up a little bit from time to time. But it's kind of neat that we're able to share with you forecast high temperatures today. Will be around 63 to 65 for those of you up there in the Montgomery County area, southern Walker County area. Same thing down here to the south, like I said, kind of, looking a little bit different. Like here's one where I switched it up because we had one with the community of Bailey's Prairie, which I've driven through down Highway 288, but I wanted to put West Columbia on this one. So I put West Columbia on this one. I put Surfside Beach on this one. So, we're going to try to take care of everybody as much as we can. And we'll do graphics like this too. So here's one specifically for Galveston, and obviously today is quiet. There's not too many changes, but on a regular day there'll be things like changes in wind speeds, or maybe it'll get breezier by the afternoon, or if you have a cold front coming in, maybe it'll get warmer, in the morning and colder during the day and things like that. But we can't ignore what's happening elsewhere also. I mean, yes, we want to be local. But there are things happening elsewhere in the country that affect us as well, like the Daytona 500. So yesterday, the Daytona 500 was scheduled to air here on Fox 26 in the afternoon. It was a rain out, as was expected. We talked about it on Friday morning, that there was a good chance for rain over there. So it was a washout, and today they've actually had some rain through the morning hours. It's starting to clear out right now. So as you're watching, it's probably getting sunny over there in Daytona. But we had a story on Friday that was really interesting. See, what they do is they have a race. It's the Xfinity Cup, I think is what it is. It's the truck races, which is like stock cars, but they're like pickup trucks. And they race on the speedway before the Daytona 500. And neither one of them can race if there's any moisture on the track, because the tires that they use are flat. It's kind of like what you use for drag racing. You don't have tread patterns on the tires because they're not meant to be run in the rain. The Indy cars will, and like the Formula One cars and stuff like that, I think they will drive in the rain because they put different tires on, or they have the option to put either the not flat tires, but tires without tread or the tires with tread. And so they could race in the rain or wet conditions, but Daytona doesn't. So they take about 90 minutes for the track to dry. And I do think they have like some kind of vehicles that they drive around with, like hair dryers on the back. I don't know if they're actual hair dryers, but it's like that. Similar concept. So this is the Daytona 500 forecast. If the race is a go, then you will have to turn it over to Fox 26 because Fox Local will not be broadcasting the Daytona 500. Things like sports. See, if you're watching us on Fox Local, or if you're watching us on our website or YouTube, first of all, give me a like if you're on YouTube. I appreciate that. So if you're watching us on those platforms, you get all of our streaming news content. Okay, so you'll get all of our news, you'll get all of our specials, you'll even in between the news, you'll get coverage with Live Now, Fox Live Now, of just basically what's happening around the country. If the president's talking, you'll hear that. If there's an update on some catastrophe somewhere, which there always is, then you'll get that all throughout the day. Things like sports, though, we're not allowed to show it on those platforms. Sports are extremely expensive and have really strict rules about where you can show them. So sports are going to have to be on Fox 26 itself. And for that, the best way to do it, believe it or not, if you really want to cut the cord, is with old-fashioned rabbit ears. I would just go to a store. You could do it on Amazon. You could order it from wherever you want. But a pair of rabbit ears with good, 5-star ratings and things like that, you plug it right in. It'll cost you less than $20, I think. And the signal that you get from the rabbit ears is better than the signal you get through cable, through satellite, or through streaming. And I know this because there are some smart people at the station that have taught me that. It has to do with compressing the signal. So the signal goes out digitally, and in order to go out through a streaming platform, it pretty much has to get compressed and then uncompressed. So you lose some quality in that process. But if you get over-the-air signals through the rabbit ears, that's the pure, unadulterated signal that is as high-res as you're going to get, as HD as you're going to get. So you might want to give it a try. I mean, if you don't like it, you could always return the rabbit ears, right? Make sure they have a return policy, and you say, hey, I tried it, it didn't work. But that's what we've done. We have cut the cord for now. The hard thing was how to watch the Super Bowl. So I think I had to pay a subscription for a month, or a free trial, I think maybe, to Paramount Plus. But anyway, so stuff like that, special events like that, you are going to have to pay some sort of a subscription fee, but not to watch the Daytona 500, man. You pull it right up on the rabbit ears, right on Fox 26. So that is the Daytona 500 forecast. It is looking nice. All right. Let's talk about something that's going to be affecting you here, and that is allergy season. Now, we are still in winter, but we're getting near the tail end of winter. And, in fact, we are just about, we're 1 month away from the start of spring. Maybe a month and 2 days. So we're getting into that time of the year when we're going to start to have a lot more pollen out there. And for right now, the primary issue we have is with tree pollen, and there are two of them in particular, cedar pollen and ash pollen. There are lots of others that are going to be blowing in based on wind direction. So you'll get pine pollen coming in. You'll get, they have one called hackberry. There's a lot of different pollens in there. But anyway, this is what's happening out there right now. It's cedar and it is ash. So, what's it been like recently? It's actually been running warmer than average for a while. So this temperature trend map shows us, temperature trend graph, shows us high temperatures. And the yellow bars are days that we were above average, and then these kind of blue-gray bars are below average. And when you take a look at the last 31 days, most of the days have been warmer than normal. Much of this month actually has been warmer than normal until the last couple of days when we've had the wind and all that stuff kicking in. So, for example, yesterday was 10 degrees below average on our high temperature. And then, of course, we went through the big, freezing temperatures back there at the middle to late part of January. We're going to be trending warmer again. So we're actually, average for this time of the year is about 69 degrees, and we should be about 10 degrees above that beginning from tomorrow all the way through the start of the rodeo. So for the rest of the day today, we got a sunny, dry day planned for you. Everything looks really, really nice. It's going to be warmer than yesterday, so instead of highs in the 50s, we'll have highs in the 60s. Watch for some fog possible tonight. I also think we'll see some fog tomorrow night into Wednesday morning, maybe some fog. That happens when you have a south wind returning. Spring-like weather, though, will dominate heading into the afternoons. And then here's the forecast, guys. We have so much going on this week. We have the trail riders making their way into Houston. If you're new around these parts, they come into Memorial Park on Friday, and So that's Go Texan Day, and they got a big parade and everything on Saturday, and it's just a big old thing. And most of the time the weather is really bad. Most of the time some people will tell me, Mike, there's no bad weather and good weather. Most of the time the weather is windy and cold and rainy. Sometimes there's even been some severe weather occasionally. So that's not going to be the case this year. There is a slight chance for rain on Thursday, but that's about it. So let's see. So we talked about the federal holiday. Talked about Dr. Clark's book. Let's see what else is going on. It's busy. It's just so darn busy in the weather department. Coming up this week, we have the barbecue cook-off, which technically is the World's Championship Barbecue Contest. That's actually what it's called. Everybody calls it the barbecue cook-off. Starts on Thursday. Our new meteorologist, Allison Gargaro, is a cook, wrote a cookbook cook. She really knows what she's doing, really into it. Well, we are sending on her down to try some barbecue and to maybe show them a thing or two down there at NRG. That's going to be on Friday morning. And so that's going to be a lot of fun. And then I assume I'll be down there at some point, maybe next week. I got something cooking. I don't want to give it away right now, but there's an aspect to the livestock show that you might not know. But I am going to show you. But it's going to take about another, I think it's not for 10 days. It starts in a week and a half. So I'm hoping to go down there and be able to show you guys a little surprise that happens down there at the Reliant Arena, I think is where they have it, is at the arena actually. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it's over there. But anyway, so stay tuned for that. The surprise livestock hidden show. I don't want to give away too much. So anyway, thanks so much for joining me here for Mondays with Mike. Busy, busy, busy. I have another weather update that I have to send out live in 25 minutes. Then I have the news at noon. Then I'll go home and take a nap. So anyway, shout out to my mom and my brother watching from Florida. And to everybody else out there, especially those of you who have downloaded the Fox Local Smart TV app. So make sure you go ahead and do that. Head to the Smart TV App Store, right where you would download Netflix or Hulu or whatever, Tubi and all that stuff. You just search Fox Local, and I'm telling you, it actually is pretty good. I was hesitant at first. Didn't understand it, but now I get it. And it's pretty cool, and I think you will too. So anyway, thanks so much for joining me. Hope you have a wonderful day. Happy President's Day. Happy Rodeo Week. And